Number 203 Squadron RAF was originally formed as No.3 Squadron Royal Naval Air Service. It was renumbered No.203 when the Royal Air Force was formed on 1 April 1918. History: First World War. The squadron was formed as No.3 Squadron RAF at Eastchurch in February 1914. In March 1915, the squadron, under the command of Commander Charles Sampson, moved to the island of Tenedos, and began operating 18 aircraft in support of the Gallipoli campaign. In the first weeks of the campaign they took over 700 photographs of the peninsula, and conducted other ground support tasks including spotting for naval gunfire, and reporting the movements of Ottoman troops. On the 21st of June 1915, the squadron became No.3 Wing RAF and was moved to Imbros. On the 19th of November, during a raid against a railway junction near the Miritsa River in Bulgaria, Squadron Commander Richard Bell Davis won the Victoria Cross for landing to rescue a pilot who had been shot down in the face of intense enemy fire. The squadron returned to the UK at the end of 1915 and was disbanded. A new No.3 Squadron was formed at St. Paul on 5 November 1916 from elements of No.1 Wing RAF. It then served as a fighter squadron on the Western Front. Among the numerous types of aircraft it was equipped with were the Nieuport 17, Nieuport 21, and Sopwith Pup, followed later by the Sopwith Camel. Among its notable officers commanding were Canada's first ace Redford Murlock Lloyd S. Bredner, future Air Marshal of the Royal Canadian Air Force, Raymond Collar Shaw, 6th scoring ace of the war, and Tom F. Hazel, the Royal Air Force's 10th scoring ace of the war. The squadron produced a number of other notable aces, including Leonard Rochford, Arthur Wheely, James Alpheus Glenn, Edwin Hayne, William Sidebottom, Frederick C. Armstrong, Joseph Stewart, Temple Fall, Harold F. Beamish, future Air Marshal Aubrey Elwood, John Joseph Malone, John Dennis Brakey, Frederick Britnell, Francis Casey, Australia's highest scoring ace, Robert A. Little, Harold Spencer Kirby, Alfred Williams Carter, and Herbert Travers. 11 of the squadron's 23 aces were Canadian. The squadron claimed about 250 aerial victories during World War I. Inter-war years. On the 21st of January 1920, the squadron disbanded. In 1929 the squadron reformed as a reconnaissance squadron operating Supermarine Southampton flying boats. Second World War. Shortly before the start of the war the squadron was re-equipped with short Singapore IIIs and in 1940 with Bristol Blenheims. The squadron flew patrols over the Red Sea from Basra. At the end of 1941 the squadron operated Bristol Blenheim IV Mediterranean from various bases in western Egypt, flying patrols from the Libyan coast out as far as Crete. In 1942 the squadron re-equipped with Martin Baltimore aircraft and was involved in operations in Syria. In 1943 the squadron was posted to India and was re-equipped with Vickers Wellingtons to fly coastal patrols. The squadron converted to Consolidated Liberator aircraft in November 1944 and began anti-shipping patrols over the Bay of Bengal. Post-war the squadron returned to the UK in 1947 and re-equipped with Avro Lancasters. In July 1954, the squadron was flying Neptune Mr. 2S from RAF Topcliffe along with No.S number 36 and number 210 squadrons as part of No.19 Group, RAF Coastal Command. The squadron remained a maritime reconnaissance squadron for the remainder of its existence, operating Avro Shackletons and then Hawker Siddeley Nimrods from RAF Lucca between July 1971 and December 1977. The squadron disbanded on 31 December 1977 at RAF Lucca in Malta, by which time it was part of No.18 group within RAF Strike Command. Current use. The squadron was reformed in October 1996, when the Seeking Operational Conversion Unit at RAF St Morgan in Cornwall was redesignated 203 Squadron as a reserve unit. In 2008, 203 Squadron relocated to RAF Valley in Anglesey, maintaining its role as the Seeking OCU and operating the Seeking Ha. 3.